Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I address my question to the witness. Mr. Witness, sabi po ninyo that you entered the name of Corona in your computer, and it's you mentioned something about it being a general database search, and based on that general database search, these were the properties that appeared.
General name search, Your Honor.
General name search.
In the database, Your Honor.
And these are the properties that appeared. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you also said that nung tinatanong kayo ni Senator Arroyo at ni Senator Jinggoy, sabi niyo po, yung search na yon would lalabas dyan ang name na Corona in any way na, kung nandun ang pangalan na Corona sa dokumento, lalabas yon dito sa ano. So, in whatever capacity na nandun ang pangalan, lilitaw yung name na yon.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, in other words, pwedeng hindi siya ang may-ari ng property.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Pero po, pag tinignan ko po yung letter nyo kay Congressman Tupas, which you say that was issued upon his request, sabi nyo po dito, pursuant to your official request for the information relative to real estate properties registered in the name of Renato Corona, please find enclosed herewith certified true copies of titles registered in their names. So
Yeah.
sabi nyo sa sulat nyo, itong 45 ay registered in their names.
In the names of the registered owners, Your Honor.
Ayun ho ang confusing. Kasi po, this is an impeachment case and lumalabas ho, based on my understanding, ako, and I think I am of average intelligence, it would appear that you were certifying that registered in the name of Corona are these properties. Wala ho akong nababasang dokumento, wala ho akong nababasang statement dito because after the 45, it simply states, kindly acknowledge receipt hereof. Thank you. Wala akong nakalagay dito any caveat, any disclaimer, any qualification similar to what you made now. So I raise the same concern that Senator Joker raised, that this is a very public, this is a very sensitive, this is a very political procedure of national significance to our country. When you issue a certification like this, I would think that you would exercise extreme cautions required of a diligent head of an agency called upon to certify to certain documents. So why could you not have said that this is based on what did you tell me just now, a general name search? Why could you not have said that? Why could you not have said that it is possible that some of these documents have been canceled, as you have said now? It would have cleared the air. It would have allowed the defendant, as every single Filipino is entitled to, of the presumption of innocence. May I know why you did not bother to make those very basic qualifications?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, when we are dealing with the certified copies of titles, it would not be appropriate that I will further certify that I'm sending a certified copy, Your Honor.
I do not understand your statement. Kindly state that in another way.
I cannot issue a certification that I am issuing a certified copy, Your Honor. So what I can do is forward a certified copy, Your Honor, for as materials for them to study whatever they want to do, Your Honor.
Mr. Witness, allow me to read back your letter to Congressman Tupas. Pursuant to your official request for information relative to real estate properties registered in the name of Renato Corona. So ano po ang hinihingi ni Congressman Tupas? Property registered in the name of Renato Corona. Do we understand each other so far? Yun ang hinihingi niya. Do we understand each other?
There's a mention of information, Your Honor.
Information relative to real estate properties registered in the name of
Yes, Your
Renato Corona. So it is information on properties registered in the name of Renato Corona.
Yes,
correct? It did not say property in any document where Corona's name appears. In any case, I don't mind if you included that, but you should have clarified, because your prefatory statement is not consistent with your search. That is what I'm saying. I know this because I also search. And these searches can be very confusing.
Yes, sir.
If you just punch in a name, there is a Pilar Cayetano in Latin America, and you could be publicizing that Pilar Cayetano is some whatever person in another country. That is not me. So if somebody asked me, if somebody were to certify that, they would say that this is based on a general name search. That is all the point I'm trying to make.
I submit, Your Honor. I will.
And so may I also know, is it common for you to issue these kind of certifications? Can anyone go to your office and ask for the same?
We have disabled it, Your Honor. This is rather new to us. This is the first time, Your Honor. And we have disabled it pending the finalization of implementing rules, Your Honor.
So, inayos nyo pa?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, the reason why I ask is because, again, this is very sensitive information. Paano kung may asawa dyan na sinasabing may kinakasama at may binahay at pumunta lang sa inyo at binigyan nyo ng sulat na ganito, na merong ganitong kapangalan ng asawa niya na may property na may kasamang iba? This is serious business and you should be very careful. And I also express the same concern for the prosecution. We are all lawyers here, and I expect that you also use this information with extreme care. Because people's name are at stake here, and national interest is at stake. So I rest my case, Mr. President, but I raise this point because everything we do today, every action that we take, and every decision we make is precedent for a future impeachment proceeding. And I expect that the next senators, the next prosecutors who will hear such a case will be guided by our actions. And I hope that we act in accordance with the Constitution and with due respect to all parties involved. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. President. Mr. President.
Yes. The gentle lady.
Thank you, Mr. President. Allow me to support the position of Senator Pia Cayetano. And this is not to take sides on any issue. It is just to make sure that due diligence is done in work, whether in private practice or in government, and that no person, public or private practitioner's reputation should be diminished because of inaccuracies or incompetence or sloth or even computer error in any government agency. May I therefore propound a few questions to the witness?
Proceed.
Thank you. I am holding Exhibit 194, Annex A, and it contains a letter to Congressman Tupas signed by Mr. Eulalio Diaz III, Administrator. I suppose this is the document that Senator Pia Cayetano was referring to, that Senator T.G. Gingona was also referring to as a product of the search engine, where you searched for properties belonging to Chief Justice Renato Corona. Is that true, Mr. Diaz?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Of course, I am holding a photocopy. I simply wanted to verify. I don't have to go there and show this to you. Can you just explain to us, for those who are not very well versed with technology, also for the clarity of mind of Senator Joker Arroyo, so that he will understand what a search engine means? While I understand it and I know it, I cannot expect everyone not to demean them, but to understand when you press Renato C. Corona, what happens?
The name where any document, Your Honor, in our database that has a name Renato C. Corona, Renato D. Corona, Renato Corona III will be tagged, Your Honor, and it will be printed, Your Honor.
Even if you print Renato C. Corona, everything with Renato B, A, B, D, E, F, G will come out, or only Renato C. Corona?
If there is a qualifier, Your Honor, then that will print first, Your Honor.
Did you print Renato C. Corona or only Renato Corona?
I was not the one who actually had this printed, Your Honor.
I'm getting there.
It is the registers of deeds who appeared before me who submitted these documents to my office, Your Honor.
Yes. The request was made to you, and you're saying that your staff, of course you're the administrator, did this.
Yes.
But based on the document which you signed, you must know what you're signing.
Yes,
I do
Your
not
Honor.
sign anything in my office which I do
Yes,
not
Your Honor.
understand. So you signed this document. Was this document a product of research based on a search engine, or you Googled the name of Renato Coronado Corona, Renato C. Corona, or merely Renato Corona?
Renato Corona, Your Honor. But these are machine-generated. It's not a product of research, Your Honor. This
I
is
know.
a product of...
Yes, I said search engine, so
Yes,
that's
Your Honor.
machine.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
So, you don't have to be sorry. This was based on putting the name Renato C. Corona, or simply Renato Corona.
Renato Corona, Your Honor.
Because I would imagine there would be more than one Renato Corona in the Philippines and or the world. Renato Corona, not even the middle name. Is that correct?
As long as it's real estate and title, Your Honor, then it will be in our database, Your Honor.
Okay. Would your database cover properties only in the Philippines or all over the world?
Just in the Philippines, Your Honor.
Just in the Philippines, because you represent the Land Registration Authority of the Philippines. That's logical, yes. And so, based on your knowledge, your staff in the LRA pressed the name Renato Corona without the middle name.
Yes, Your Honor.
If there are other Renato Coronas in the Philippines, their ownership of assets, real properties would also be here, as Senator Cayetano mentioned, if she has a namesake in the country. That would have been possible.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Therefore, knowing that fully well, did you review this list given to you by your staff before you affixed your signature on this two-page document with the enclosures?
I went over them, Your Honor.
You went over them, yes. That's good. You did not merely sign it based on the staff work given to you by your staff.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And so when you affix your signature, you looked at each and every title in each and every city. You were knowledgeable about these properties because it was a product of a search engine done by your staff.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you therefore asked your staff whether these properties still belonged to Renato Corona,
No,
or
Your Honor.
whether they were already sold or the titles were transferred?
No, Your Honor.
You did not. To what extent, therefore, did you exercise due diligence and complete staff work?
A number of documents that were forwarded to my office, Your Honor.
Yes. Can you kindly explain to this representation the meaning of by the number of documents?
These documents, Your Honor, first of all, I do not have the luxury, Your Honor, of going detail by detail on these documents. So, what I did, Your Honor, was to request them to submit to me the title properties in their registries via computer name search and to submit to my office, Your Honor, what documents was generated